Hi friends, happy Monday. Tonight I'm going to be doing my scrapbooking and scripture. Like I mentioned before, I have moved my scrapbooking and scripture to Mondays along with my Marvelous Mondays. So alternately, I'll be doing a scrapbook page and a card page every other week or thereabouts. Can't guarantee that just because sometimes I don't have scrapbooking or something of that nature or something special happens like last week. Where I was showing you a bunch of new product, including this, that will be available starting September 3rd. So there's so much beautiful stuff right now. So I'm just have patience as I go through them carefully because I want to make sure that you enjoy them. Tonight I'm going to be using the lovely Florals to do two-page layouts, and I'm pretty much going to stick pretty closely to the design that Stampin' Up! Provided in their wonderful tutorial that goes with the kit. So if these papers and colors look familiar, that's because the lovely Florals coordinates with the Floral Charms Suite Collection. So as you may recall, this beautiful suite collection has all these beautiful papers and it coordinates with all these colors. So this is Berry Burst, Blackberry Bliss, Night of Navy, Pretty Peacock, Mossy Meadow, Timid Tiger, Petal Pink, Early Espresso. And then, of course, there's all these stamps and then the dies that go with it. And then these are additional stamps that go with this bundle, the Charming Day bundle. And then, of course, I gave you some examples of cards that I made, and I demonstrated that. It has this coordinating petal pink braided trim, and it has this charming shimmer faceted dots. So just as a reminder, just really beautiful shimmering dots. Beautiful paper. You can see that each one has gorgeous colors behind it. So pretty much the same thing. Okay, so let me move this to the side. So this kit, it does coordinate with the same colors, but they've added a couple of colors, which is Cajun Craze, Pecan Pie, which I thought it was pretty interesting that they didn't, and White Willow. So they didn't show that on the original, but maybe because they zoomed out a bit on the, or they made these bigger. So typical of our kits, they have these little photo placeholders. So if you're not ready to put your photos in, you can put your placeholders there so that later you can go through and get your photos the right size that you need. Now this one is including a 5x7. I'm not going to use it, but it'll be nice to have it as a placeholder in the future in case I need that size. Okay, so the kit, I've started cutting into it already just to kind of do a little bit of preliminary prep work. So I'll show you the cardstock that comes with this. So this is the sticker page, and I love all the little sentiments. All of these are stickers that would just peel up. They're really nice cardstock, so they're not just really flimsy. They're nice, heavy duty. So there's big smiles. Let's make the most of today. Happy days. And then I just love that it has all these beautiful colors. This is a little journaling spot, a little tag or banner. So lots of beautiful stuff. And we'll be using some of these for our pages. And then they have this beautiful punch out work. And so there's some florals and such that I'm going to be using. And as a reminder, each one of the projects has an identifier on the back so that I know when I'm doing project one, I'm going to be picking the items that are part of project one. Same thing with the second page. They have, again, all of these really beautiful imagery that are just easy to punch out. Okay, so this is some of the DSP, and it matches the DSP that was in the Suite Collection. However, this is the back of a page. This is the back of a scrap or designer series paper. So both of those are part of the paper. Now I'm going to be using a portion of this for my scrapbook layout. So we'll have to keep that in mind. And then, of course, they've got one page of this with this behind. Now, this one right here is a new color. It's real subtle. But on the back was one of the back of the designer series paper. And then this is new. It's there's two of these. I've already pulled one out. And I love this because it's a great way to kind of get your spotlight for your beautiful layout. Okay, this, they have two as well. And so these are pieces that you can cut out, journaling spots, just a title. So it's kind of like the punch out, but you just would be cutting these and adding them. And we're going to be using one of these for my layout. And then they have the Mossy Meadow two-tone cardstock. They have the Pretty Peacock two-tone cardstock. And then they have the Timid Tiger two-tone cardstock. Oh no, this is Petal Pink. It looks like Timid Tiger. And then I've already cut into one that is the Blackberry Bliss two-tone cardstock, as you can tell. So you can see the beautiful colors. And then also the Early Espresso two-tone cardstock. So I love the cardstock. Okay, so put those aside. And then, of course, they give you some White Willow cardstock as well. So I'm going to be doing this layout here and then this layout here. So this is layout number 1 and this is layout number 2. They give you a featured technique. Hey, Linda, it's nice seeing you. So the featured technique is tearing paper to add texture to your project. So I love that they try to give you a new technique to learn each time you do a scrapbook kit. And then this one here is they give you the materials needed. So you need the scrapbooking workshop kit. You need some Stampin' Seals, some Stampin' Dimensionals, and a paper trimmer. And that's it. Now, if you want to, you can add, like these are the Charming Shimmer Faceted Dots, and these were part of the Suite Collection, so they match really nicely. And then this is part of that woven trim, that the Petal Pink woven trim that came with the Suite Collection. And so I can add those to my scrapbook if I'd like. And I have some stamp pads here because the lovely Florals, as an extra purchase, you can be adding some items so that you can make it, customize it for yourself. And I love adding these because they're just beautiful. And these are great sentiments that can be made for cards as well. Thankful, lovely day, hello, you know, obviously the story and picture perfect isn't necessarily, but I love this grid, flower, and the font of these. This tag would be great to add. And I know I'd like to use this one on one of my pages. So we'll just put this aside for now. Okay, so as a reminder, each one of the cardstocks, they give you how to cut it out, and each one of the DSP, what you're going to need and for which project. So there'll be a 3 or a 2 or a 1 for whichever project that you're going to be using. And okay, so for the first layout, which is these two here, I've already got my pictures chosen, and I've got the background layer or the layer already cut out. So I'm going to just put those aside. And then I did some journaling on the little journey tag, so I don't have to do that in front of you. But let's start with this because this is really fun, and we're going to need and it's one-sided. We're going to need some portions of this for our first layout. So like this is a good place to cut. This one's a good place to cut. But here you don't want to cut because there's a portion down here that would need to come off. So we're just going to do a couple of places, like right here, because I'm going to need this one for my first layout, and then I'm going to need these two for my second layout. So I'll cut these out and put them aside. And I already have that ready to go. And then I am going to need this as well. And this one I can cut all the way down. So get that done. And then I'm going to take off this little piece because this will be for an extra for another scrapbook day and for a different layout altogether, because I don't think I'll be needing that piece, but I should put it aside just in case. But I will be needing this one. So like I said, I don't want to cut all the way down unless you're really good at cutting little pieces. It's best just to cut off the portion that you're not using, and then you can work on what you need. So these I'm putting aside because I don't need them right now, but I do need this one. Okay, now for the page layout, let's put these here to the right. All right, so I'm looking for items that have project number 1 on it. And obviously neither one of these are coordinating, but it also kind of gives you some tips. And when it has an asterisk next to it, you're going to be using the back of the paper. So this is the front of the paper, this is the back, and then it shows you the cut orientation. In other words, whether your cardstock would go this way or this way. So let's take a look. Okay, so this is the orientation of my paper, and this is project number 3, so I don't need that, but this is project number 1. And this is going to be the front of my paper. So I need a small strip that is 1/2 by 12 and a larger one that is 7 inches by 12. Oh, sorry, it's a 1/2 inch by 12. I better look. Nope, this one is not sideways. It is this way. See, you got to double check, because this one is sideways. This one is going up and down. So let me just kind of show you what I mean. I'm not sure if you can see this just because it's such a subtle background. It doesn't show. Okay. But I need to pay special attention to that. Okay, so I've got the 1 inch or the 1/2 inch by 12, and now I need a 7 inch by 12. And I know it's backwards for other people, but this is the way I like to cut. I use my cutter, so I need that one and that one. And this one gets put aside. All right, so I've already cut out this one and this one, so I will need this piece. So this is 1H, 1F, 1B, 1C. So you can see that the numbers that I'm going to need. And then I've already cut out my my two-tone cardstock for the background of the layer for the photos. So these do not have anything more to do with what I'm doing. And then we have some white willow cardstock. I've already cut out that for my photos, so that I don't need any of these. These are all for project 3, 3, And then I've already cut these out. All right, so let's take a look and see where we are with things. Okay, so this is the first page. All right. So I'm going to need 2 of these. And for the first page, this little strip goes here. And then do you see how it has this little one here? That is one of the stickers. So let's get the stickers out. And so first I want to put this down, and then I can put this little piece right here. See, there's these dark pieces. Those are going to go next to it. Okay, so this looks like a real easy layout. And I'm using my tear and tape because it's my favorite medium for scrapbooking. So Linda, how have you been? How's your family? We haven't chatted in a while. Sometimes she comes out this way and she stays at my house and we get to play. And I miss being able to do that. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom, make sure it's in the right position, and then line it up with the edge. So that was a pretty easy piece. And then now I'm going to add this really pretty Night of Navy and it looks like berry burst piece. Okay, so now let's go to the cutouts. So I'm going to turn these over and I'm going to take a look at and pop out the things that say Project 1. Okay, so this is one of the flowers. More of the flowers. This is one of the titles. And one more for Project 1. Okay, now let's look at the second one. And Project 1. Here's another item that's Project 1. And this has got some little dots. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys are doing well. Yeah, grandkids will do that to you. They take up all your spare time. But it's so rewarding. So much fun. Yeah, you can call me anytime after 7, because I'm typically work till 7, or we can chat on a Friday. Okay, here's a bigger one that says Project 1. All kinds of parts to it. And then there's some little pop-out pieces that need to come out. All right, 2 more. It's another really big one. Okay, I think I've gotten all of the pop-outs. Now there's going to be more, I believe, that are from here that will need to be part of my layout as well, but it may not be this page. It may be the second page that has it. So we'll take a look. Okay. So here are my photos. Now these are the ones that are for the second page, and these are the ones that are for the first page. Now what I did is we were visiting Mammoth, which is a really beautiful mountain and lake area. It's primarily skiing, but it's also got some beautiful natural resources that are just stunning up there. And a friend of ours, they have a cabin that they would get and rent frequently, and we all just chipped in. It wasn't really a cabin, it was more like a really luxurious townhome. And we went up there with a couple of our friends. They were part of our Bible study group. And so it was just really pretty to do some boating and do some hiking and just chance for fellowship with some great friends. They were part of our life group that we had for about 10 years. So we made some really good friends. And when things go badly, we're always reaching out to them as well for prayer. So just an update. My husband's cancer markers returned, and so we have potentially some issues that we need to deal with. He has a biopsy on some hot spots that showed up in his bones, so we're going to be taking a look at that. And so prayers appreciated, if you don't mind. I would love that. Okay, so it looks like this flower is up here. And then this flower is down here. And then we have all these little sprigs. Let's see which ones go where. So it looks like this one goes up here. I don't really want to cover up too much of the waterfalls because that's some of the best part. And then this one goes down here. And then we have this, and then one of the stickers that say Happy Days. It's interesting. This shows Night of Navy, but it's actually pretty peacock. That's okay. It's really beautiful anyway. And this is pretty much, oh, here we go. This is where the littler piece goes. So I like to always dry place my photos so that I can kind of get an idea of where they're going to be, and then I can start adhering them as well. So I am following this because I think it's a really stunning layout. And so I think this is it. So now I can start positioning. So the one thing so you can see that I'm just following the directions pretty much the whole way. So the first thing it looks like I'm going to need to do is place this, because it's under my photos. So my scripture for today is Ecclesiastes 1:3. He has made everything beautiful in his time. And I just, in going through these photos to, document this special time with our friends and my husband, I just love that it's a reminder of how beautiful creation is and how much we can enjoy it. It's just, it was such a special time, and them willing to share their rental that they typically used for their family to include us and just get some extra time with them. It was just so lovely. We all shared in the expenses for food and stuff, so it was just a great, great time. But I think that, you know, the Lord's been so good to us and our friendships. We've just had some wonderful people in our lives, and I miss my California friends very much, but you know, we do chat once in a while, and when I'm out in California, sometimes I stay or go by and visit them, so I do get to see them again. Okay. All right, so this one I'm going to place, I think, about here. And then I don't want to put my photos on this mat because it tends to stick to the glossy photo paper. So just so you know, I have a Canon G7020, and I buy glossy photo paper from Amazon, and I print all my own photos, most of them. And so, yeah, just I'm kind of stuck with the sizes that they provide, so I don't really have a lot of choice with that. But I think it does a really good job. Each one of the inkwells are individual, and I already have the refill I need for that, so that works out really well. Okay, so this little piece, so in case you want to, and I use just the photo program that comes with my Microsoft project, or my Microsoft I don't know what you want to call it. It's just the setup that you get when you have Microsoft Word and those kind of programs. So I use Word all the time, and I use a lot of their business suite, but I primarily just use their Microsoft Word. And then let me just look and see when my photos come up what it's called. It just is a photo. Yeah, it just is. Microsoft, OneDrive in Photos, personal. Oh no, that's just where they are located. Microsoft Clipchamp. There's a designer. There's browse all my photos and videos. Yeah, I don't know what this program is called, but it just brings up my photos and allows me to, I can edit them, and then I can also select my photos and just choose print. But anyway, if you have special questions, I could do a one-on-one Zoom with you to help you navigate if you have the same program and you just didn't know that you could do that. So anyway, I'm willing to help whoever is looking for some help with that. All right, so let's add some tear and tape on this one. And then I am going to add dimensionals because I want the floral to pop out. Okay, so let's set this up like it's going to look. And now I can, oh, you know what? I need to put this down first, and then I'll put dimensionals down. Okay, so I want this to go here, and so that looks good. Now I can do the dimensionals for all my flowers. Make sure we got it going the right way. And then this one. Yeah, my husband's PSA numbers started coming back up, and that's the cancer markers. So that was a nasty surprise, but we know God's got a purpose for everything that we've been going through, and for what he's been going through especially. It's been hard on him, and of course me, I'm thinking selfishly what it's going to mean for me as well. So it's rough. I'm hoping that he doesn't have to do the radiation. We're praying that when they do the biopsy Thursday, that it'll come back negative and there won't be anything, because we've been claiming healing and just assuming that God can provide complete healing. Okay, so now the stickers. Okay, so Happy Days goes down here at the bottom of the photo, and then I'm going to put this Life is Lovely right here, because I feel like even though I'm supposed to use that for my second page, I want this to be my title page. But, well, maybe I won't. So I'll hold off and wait until I'm all done. But it's so pretty. So many pretty little sentiments. I just want to tie in this one that is pretty peacock and with another sentiment. Okay, I think that looks good. And then we have these pretty little Charming Shimmer faceted gems. That'll be the last touch that we have for this. So I'm just going to add some of them in navy and some in the Berry Burst. The Berry Burst kind of disappears into the paper, so we'll add one there. And 3, 4, 5, so I need 2 more. And there we go. Nope, this side needs it. Okay, beautiful. All right, so now for the second page. All right, so now I'm going to the next page, and it kind of shows where everything gets laid out. And I know that there's a bunch of measurements, so if you want to follow all the measurements, you can. I tend to more eyeball things, just because that's kind of how I do my thing. So this piece will go here, and then this piece gets tucked under, and it looks like it's about equal spaces. And then we have our photos. This lake is just, Mammoth Lake is so pretty. And the mountain ranges. I do miss mountains. You don't get this majestic mountain range look anywhere here in Minnesota. It's all pretty pretty flat out here. Once in a while you get a mound, and one of the places that we've been visiting is a city called Mounds View, which cracks me up. But the mound is gone because the Army Corps used it. All right, we have a couple of bears because we had lots of bear showings. And so that's fun. And more beautiful mountains. And then this goes here, and I'm going to need to shift everything because I wrote more than they had on theirs. So they have their stuff more crammed together. And then there's a sticker that goes here. So this sticker comes into play here. And then we have more that wasn't used. So these stickers, I don't see how they were used. So it gives me opportunities to obviously do more with scrapbooking than it's showing. So in other words, if you have a different layout, you have the opportunity to have more. And then I'll be using some of these stickers that have to do with this layout. And then I'll be using this sticker as well. Once I have everything down, the sticker goes down in between. This one right here. Okay, so now I have everything kind of figured out of where it's going to go. I can just put everything aside. And so the first thing I need to put in is this one. So this one will be a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to put this down with the typical way where I peel a portion of this back. So that way I can make sure it's placed in the right location. And then I can, because I want these three edges to be the same. And then I can start peeling it back. And then everything is right where it's supposed to be, and you don't have to worry about already having the adhesive down and then pulling it up. And you've seen me do that a number of times. Okay. This will be the same way. I'm going to want to make sure that it lines up with this right side of my scrapbook page. All right. Okay, so this, I want it lined up with the bottom and this side. And I feel pretty good about that. It's right where it's supposed to be. And now I can bring the sticker in. And I'll start at the bottom and then place a little bit as I go, make sure it stays right where I want it. And now I have the base done. So now my first photo that I'm going to put down is this one. think I have Kitty tearing at the carpet outside my door because she is not happy that I closed the door on her. She came in just seconds before I started my video tonight. And they've been very needy today. Lots of snuggles, lots of visits, laying on my desk, chewing on my flowers, chewing on my ribbons, all kinds of fun stuff. So next weekend, not this coming weekend, Labor Day weekend, we're just going to be hanging out at home together and maybe having our granddaughter over, the one that lives closest. And because it's a little milder, we'll just have to find fun things to do with her. And then, but next weekend, my son and I are going to go to Washington State and visit my family. My mom, my sister, my brother and his wife. They all live really close to one another, so I get to see them all at the same time. I have nieces and a nephew that I'll get to see. One of them, actually, she'll be flying in from Seattle, and we'll pick her up from the airport and get to catch up, which I don't think I've seen her for about 5 or 6 years. I think the last time I saw her is when they came out to our place in California. And she and her mom had just graduated, so we were celebrating her graduation. So that was a while back. I did a scrapbook page, I think, on one of the smaller little scrapbook notebooks. Okay, so this gets tucked under. This gets put over. But we don't want to cover up the bear. So I think I'm going to move this. And I don't want to cover too much of this beautiful photo up. All right, the next one is this one and this one. I know this goes here. And I want to be careful where this goes because I don't want to lose any of my journaling. And I think it's a little different than what they had there. So these will need just maybe some little dimensionals off to the side so they just kind of pop up on the edge. And I think I'm just going to overlap these just a little bit. Again, don't want to cover up the photos too much. And then this sentiment, it's going to go a little bit over my photos and the flowers. So I'm going to keep them all to the right so that I don't have dimensionals on my photo. So I think this right here is a little bit better. Works for me. Okay, now we have some of these pretty little sentiments. And I'm thinking that I don't think I'm going to use all of them that they have in here. Just because it doesn't really go with the photos. But I think this turned out really beautiful. So you can see the 2-page spread. It's really beautiful. Oh, thank you. I think the kits make it really easy. So you just have to follow them. And I have another page that I want to do, but it might be a little bit too much time. So, uh-oh, I lost it. There it is. And so pretty. Okay. I think this is where I'm going to use one of these stamps. So I want Picture Perfect because I think it matches this really pretty scene. So do I want Picture Perfect up here, or do I want it here? I could just stamp right on the paper with Night of Navy. So I'm going to move this dimensional up and actually put it there. Okay. So I'm not sure if you've heard or not, but Stampin' Up! Is retiring their ability to make red rubber stamps. So all their stamps are going to be photopolymer like this, which I'm actually really happy about. Not everybody is. I need my chamois. But I think that red rubber, it makes it really hard to place like I just did, where I get it right there just above my photos. I think that's really hard to do with red rubber. And so that's why at least I personally am really happy about them retiring that. And so it'll be just photopolymer in the future. And then they're going to get rid of these cases and use just these with, I think they'll probably be printing on here again so we can make sure all of our stamps are in place. And then it'll go into like the die case. It'll be really thin. So then everything will store really nicely together, a lot less space. The only thing is we won't have this. But Stampin' Up! Will continue to sell these cases. So you'll be able to store them in cases if you want to. You don't have to have them just in the case. Okay, so this is just the two that I was going to do. at first, and then I've got another 2 that I want to do. So let's go through the instructions for layout number 2. If I don't do this now, I'm not going to have time because there's all kinds of other stuff that I can always be doing. Okay, so this paper is going to be the base for my layout. And then I know that I'll be using this. I'll need some of this. I had cut out, yes, this, my little journaling, and then okay, so let's figure out what else we need. So let's go back to the beginning and go through and look for things that are for project number 2. Okay, so let's put this to the side. We know we need these. I'm going to put my photos up here because I know I'm going to be needing those. But this cardstock, I'm going to need 2 pieces, and they want the orientation to go like so. So I will need 4 inches by 12 inches from one of them. And then, so this gets held over for another project. And then I need 2 1/4 by 11 inches. All right. So that's those 2. None of these have anything to do with layout number 2, but for this one, I already have this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. So all of those are ones I'm going to need for layout number 2. I've already cut my photo frames, and now for the Mossy Meadow cardstock, I need to cut. Okay, so this is where I need to be careful because I'm not doing a 5 by 7. So let's take a look at the layout. So I think the Mossy Meadow pieces I need are going to be okay. It's not going to look exactly the same because I don't have a 5 by 7. I didn't want the photo that big. It's not clear enough to make a 5 by 7. So we'll go ahead and cut the 2 pieces that we need. All right, so I need 6 3/4 by 7 3/4. And then I need the other Mossy Meadow piece as well. And I'm going to need an 8-inch. Luckily, this doesn't have a direction, so it doesn't matter. 8-inch by 9.5. Nope, 9 1/4. Okay, so that's that one. These are all for 3. The white willow I've already done. Okay, so now we can go to the layout and we can start putting things together. Okay. All right, so for the first piece, I am going to be using this one here, and then this piece here, and then I guess I need to figure it out. So it says, because I cut two of them of similar size, one is 2C and one is 2I, and I need 2C for this page. Okay, so then this goes here. This goes here. Nope, I have it going the wrong way. There we go. No. Sorry, wrong one. So I'm not using the 5x7. So let me see what this looks like here. Or I can turn it. So see, not everything is easy. Sometimes you gotta do some fitting. So I think I like these like so. And then I can have this right up here. And then I'll have a sticker that goes, nope, not a sticker. Now I need to pop out project number 2 items. Okay. Project number 2. Looks like that's the one. And another project number 2. These are beautiful. They're just gorgeous watercolor pieces. I just love it. And project 2. Project 2. These are all for the next page. And then so again, I won't be needing any of the stickers for that until I get ready to do some of my little tags and flags on the second layout. Okay. However, there was one that I really wanted that I think is really beautiful. And it's this one. It says, cherish each memory and hold it close. Because I think that I just would really like it to be here next to my husband and I. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside. This is something that I can peel up my stickers from. So I'm just going to lay it here on this and it doesn't take the sticky away. Okay, so now that I kind of know where things go, Let's start with this piece here and my tear and tape. So again, it's just a really easy layout, you know, just be brave. I'm going to do my little flag thing. Okay, so it doesn't go all the way over to the edge, but I do want the top and the bottom to be equal or fairly equal. Let's line this up so that I can follow the lines that are on this grid here, because the grid makes it really easy to kind of eyeball it and make sure it's in the right spot. Whoops. Okay. And then this one, we'll do the same thing. So this kind of more at the top than at the bottom. And it looks like it's supposed to line up with the edge of this. So that works. And now we just need to move these off so that we can put this piece on. I love the colors of this. But I have to say, for the first time, I was a little overwhelmed by all the suites that had the word floral in them. And then now these kits have floral as well. So I think I counted 5 suites that had the word floral in it this year. So that was a lot. Okay, so this is going to be about 1 3/4 of an inch down. So I think I'm going to put it about 2 inches down. And then 2 inches over, which I'm lining it up with that. And down below. So now I can place this. There we go. And now I can add these pieces. And here it looks like it's just going to be like 1/4 of an inch from the edges. So the fun, obviously, is going to be more on the second page, but I do like this title for this 2-page spread because we had a lot of boat time. Okay, photo. You can see this just comes together super easy, so don't be scared of the kits. I think they're so easy and they're just so pretty. They did such a great job. So I'm just making sure that all my little spaces are pretty close to the same amount of space. So you can see that. That way they just kind of line up really nicely. And then, of course, we've got our beautiful flowers. And I'm just going to pop those up. And obviously we don't want to cover up but we can cover up the dirt. There's a lot of dirt right there. So We don't want to cover up the fun. Okay, and then I really love this, so I am going to just line it up with the edge of my photo and put it there, and then I have this sentiment that came from, and I chose Time Together because I think that it works perfectly for this layout, and this layout's done, other than if I want to add some gems. So this one, I think it's going to be the petal pink that I use, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of places that I could put it where it would actually show up. So I'm just going to, I'll use less, and I'll put it on something that it's coordinating with, so that it, or not coordinating with, but the color shows up better. So I'm only going to put in 5. So I think that works out just perfect. There we go. Okay, so that's the first page. We'll put this to the side here. And then let's get the second page. Okay, and let me make sure I'm in the screen so you can see it. Okay, so going to the directions again. So we're going to do this layout now. And this goes along the bottom. Instead of along the side. And then we have this larger piece that goes here. And then we have photos. So one of my photos is not the same size as theirs, so there's going to be some little differences. But we'll work through it. So this one here, and then I have 3 photos here, so I'm going to be using one of those flip flaps, but this will be what it looks like when I'm done. So let's make sure all the areas are the same. So this one goes like so, and it's going to do a little bit of overlapping. And then we have flowers, and so this goes here. And this goes up here. Looks like this doesn't quite match the photo size, and that's because when I printed the photo, when I was trying to get it to the size, it was cutting her off. And so let me just trim this down a little bit. That's much better. I like that better. Okay. This photo behind here is so pretty. I don't want to cover that up much, if any, and I don't want to cover up our friend. So I'm just going to line those up. And then we've got all the flowers. So this set of flowers can go here, and this one goes there. Oh, nope, wrong one. And then this one goes here. And then we've got a couple of flowers that go here. And I like that the sunset matches so nicely. All the green matches so beautifully. It just makes for such a pretty layout. And then I have a little tag that is here that will go right there. And I think that's good. All right, so we kind of know, again, where everything's going to go. So now I can kind of lift this off. We know these go up here. These three go down here. So this will be the first piece again. And this will be a two-part piece because it's going to need to down at the bottom. And I want it to line up perfectly with the bottom. I have to tell you, this just makes me so happy. I get all these pictures done so quickly and so beautifully. Make sure that it's right side up. And I'm laying it up at the bottom and the edges. All right. These photos and this go over here. These photos go here. All right, so I'm going to line this up so that I can use that as a grid. And then I don't know that I need it to be quite so far over. Okay, so this is about 1 3/8, and this is about a 1/2 inch. Okay. I could have turned it over and done this other side, which is really pretty, but I like the dark green as well because it really matches all the forest pictures. Okay, so about a 1/2 inch and then 1 3/8. I want to say that's eyeballing it. Looks pretty good. Okay, next are photos. And let's place these so that we remember about where they go. And make sure this is going the right way. Line it up. These pictures are from back in 2018, and it's amazing how much time has gone by. That was 7 years ago. Just putting them in a scrapbook just brings it all back. So beautiful. Of course, I loved seeing the bears. Okay, so this is where I have to be careful. So I've got some photos that are going to go on a flip flap. And this is the only photo that's actually going to get adhered, but I have to be careful. I can't put it down until I get the flip flap in there. And I'm going to journal on this. So we loved playing this, left, center, right, I believe is what it's called. And talk about crazy times. It's so competitive. It's so funny. It's a really, really fun time with friends. Okay, so I think I want it to flip like so. So I'm going to place this first. So everybody has $1 for this game. So I'm just making sure that it lines up with my frame. And then I can place and the photo gets put. So this is the way it's going to get placed. People had been stacking the driftwood forever, and it was really beautiful. And then this is the photo that's going to go down. And then I went ahead and printed this with the cardstock because it was a square photo. And when I realized when I was all done, it was like, it doesn't really work. But it gives me a place to journal and just talk about this left, center, right. So everybody has $7 that they put into the kitty. And then you end up rolling the dice, and you either have to give it to somebody on the left, somebody on the right, put it in the center, which means that whoever wins gets anything that gets put in the center, or you get to pass. You don't have to give up any of your money. So it's funny. We would just be screaming, laughing, accusing people of cheating, you name it. It was so much fun. I need to get that out for my friends again and do that here. Okay, there we go. And then, so because of this, I cannot overlap this photo, and I don't want to anyway because I love the sunset. So we're going to just pop it up above, and I think there's still plenty of room for everything. Yeah, because I think there's still room for this above it. And I don't want to overlap there. So I think I'm just going to actually push it out, line it up on the bottom with this other photo. I think I like that better. One of the things that's really great about this two-tone cardstock that they use, I forgot, is that it's a little thinner than the regular cardstock. So what you end up with is scrapbook pages that aren't quite as thick. I'm going to leave this because I'm not sure what I'm going to be putting here. I want to look at what we put on Facebook when we posted this. So, anyway, it's just a little bit lighter weight, and I had been using, obviously the 12 by 12 before. Okay, so this one, we're just going to line it up. It was supposed to be a 3 by 4, so you can see that actually it being a 3 by 3 works perfectly, because it gives me that chance to not cover him up, not cover the sunset, and I get to place my little bear and cub picture. Okay, so next are the flowers, and then this piece here, I think it is supposed to line up on the bottom with this piece. But I am going to bring it down a little bit. because it's really pretty, and I need a place for that tag as well, the sticker of the banner. So don't be shy about changing things up a little bit, because I think honestly there's opportunity, and it still is so beautiful. So you wouldn't know that I just changed that. Okay, so now I can do my flowers, and we'll do the leaves first, making sure not to adhere anything to my photos. So this doesn't have any tape on the back of it, and this still allows me to move this. So I'll stick this here and then use my dimensionals. So even though my pictures are not of flowers, I think that just having all these beautiful flowers, and actually I want to move that down just a little bit, but I think it's too late, is the colors coordinate really nicely with the pictures because of just the tone. And you know what? That's just happy circumstance. It has nothing to do with any of my planning, I can tell you that. Okay, so I am only going to use one flower down here, because I'm going to use this one to cover up that little empty spot there that would have been used for a 3x4 photo. So, and I still think this works just fine. All right, so this goes upside down, and again, I have to be really careful about what I put under there, because I need to be able to move this up and down. So part of my leaf is going to go, and my flower needs to stay off. Okay. It all works out for a reason. That's the only thing about this kit that you'll need to be careful of, is if you're going to use flip flaps, you're going to need to be careful about where you place the items that you were planning to use. Okay, so this just goes here, and so I've got great sentiments here, so let's figure out where I want to put them. And I'm changing things up just a little bit because I want to be able to, let's see, I think definitely adventure works for that one, because it was pretty exciting seeing the bear. And after we left, they stayed on and they were fishing and such, and they ended up, his wife took a, no, I think it was him, she was fishing, and the bear came into the water and she was fishing, so they had to very carefully move out of the way. All right, so one of the things that this layout has is make time for fun, but I think I want to use big smiles up here because it's not being used anywhere else and it matches just perfectly. Or maybe I should put my big smiles over here. Oh yeah, I think that works out perfectly. All right. There we go. 2 pages, folks. 4 pages. So just adding a few little embellishments. Again, I'm just going to use the petal pink and placing them here and there. And just using 5. So here's the one layout. And here is the second layout. Alrighty. Thanks for joining me. It's Angela. Hey, I'll be putting the YouTube, as long as I don't have any technical difficulties, this will be on YouTube tonight. So if you're watching on YouTube, please like and share and subscribe. And my name is Angela with Wild Violets Art again. And thank you so much for joining me and have a great evening.